until I stop and I'm stationary, I can't drive and do the live. So just enjoy the scenery and I'll find a place to stop. I've come to the conclusion, if I can say that word, that it was actually Acle's Wi-Fi, because I tried 3 different places in Acle to go live and I just couldn't get a signal strong enough. I thought it was Starbucks building that was the problem. My phone said I had 5G, yet I just couldn't connect for some bizarre reason. So up here there's a concrete hard standing and I'm going to try and pull in there and see if I can get a strong enough signal there. As soon as I left Acle, I've been able to connect. So anybody just joining, hello, welcome. But I can't actually read your messages until I'm stationary, okay? And that shouldn't be much longer. As you can see, it's hailing and you can probably hear. When I left the house this morning, I didn't plan to actually go live. So I haven't got my charging cable for my phone with me. I thought I had one in the car. So hello to anybody who's arrived. I don't know how many of you are here presently. But I found another manure heap for you. I know you like the manure heaps so much that I thought we'd try that. See if we can park there. Which you can just see straight ahead. Slight whoops, stay in the lane, Lisa. Actually, we could. That's pretty full of manure, so I'm going to do a different road instead. I don't know that that would be too healthy sat there beside that. So this is the Clipsby Road. No, it's not. It's the Thurn Road. And we'll see how we get on just parking in here. This little lay-by. Let's try this. It's very stressful when you can't go live, you know. Oh, there's 6 of you here. Thank you, everybody. Right, let's see if I've missed any messages. Mr. Phil says, we're back. Mr. Phil says, thought it was one of those bad driving videos with that truck overtaking dangerously, as always. Yes, the white and black one. SW says, hooray, you're back. Good morning, Lisa and Judith. Judith's not here now, she's gone. SW says, good morning, Mr. Phil. Mr. Phil says, hi, SW. Richard's here. Richard says you're coming through okay, Lisa. Thank you. Jean's here. Hi, everyone. Just cruising down to Acle. I've just gone over Acle Bridge, Jean. Literally just driven over Acle Bridge. SW says, hi, Richard and Jean. SW says, lost Judith. She's gone to get her grandson from nursery. We met up for coffee this morning while she was waiting to get him. So, whereas I was thinking it was my phone or my Wi-Fi, whatever, it seems the problem is in Acle, because I tried 3 different places and I couldn't connect anywhere. And I've always been able to connect there before. As soon as I got out of Acle, I could go live. Mr. Phil says, good news on the weather. No sign of any further nastiness on the radar. Thank you, Mr. Phil. We have literally just had hail. How is everybody? Sorry I lost you when I was in Starbucks. How was it, Jean, with all that hail last night? Jean says, if we can get electric hookup, we'll be staying overnight. Well, I think that's a very nice location there. The cafe isn't open yet. I don't know about electric. The clouds look lovely, don't they? There's a car coming. So as I was saying, when I left the house this morning, I was simply going meeting Judith for coffee. So I didn't take my charging cable for my phone. I've only got my little camera, not my big camera. So we can chat until my my phone battery runs out. Clearly having problems speaking today, SW, I am. I can't I said something on the live in Starbucks which was just total rubbish. Hello to the new people just joining. Thank you for joining me. As the sun is shining, if I just zoom in, I'm going to show you something. I am on the Thurn Road, okay? So let me show you this. Can you see? I don't know if you can. You can't. I was going to say, can you see right of the trees on the line, or the horizon line, there's a white circle. Can you see that or not? That's RAF Neatishead, the radar thing. I'd never have put it over there. So Jean, if you're still here, you were near there yesterday and now you're right over here today. Shows you how far you've travelled and how far I've travelled. Mr. Phil says, yes, radar thing visible. Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Phil, for that. Jesus had 4 seasons before we left Erstead. I know, it's dreadful, isn't it? Sun, rain, hail, and there was even like sleet. Just need a tornado. SW says, Nita said, wow, it really sticks out on the horizon. I'm waiting for it to dry a bit outside before I take the hounds for a walk. The log burner is lovely. Yes, I'm really surprised that it's over there. Because to me, over there would be Stalham. But it isn't. That makes Stalham so much further over to the right still. And you can only see it when the sun shines on it. SW says, no tornadoes, please. No, we don't really want tornadoes. Here comes the hail again. Mr. Phil, hail. What happened to your weather radar prediction? Oh, dear. Oh, it was so noisy in Starbucks. There was one person holding some sort of conference call and they were so loud. And then there was a lovely lady who Mr. Phil says epic fail. Yes. Got to open my window. Yeah, there was another lady. She was doing some sort of phone call thing. SW says it's meant to be dry for the rest of the day. Well, that even, did you see that little like flurry that looked like, this is verging on snow, folks. It's not hail. It's not sleet. Oh, I think it's changed to hail. That was, for a couple of seconds, they were snowflakes. SWS says, I hate that when you can hear everyone's conversation. Well, they were making the most of the Wi-Fi in Starbucks. SW says, yes, I saw that earlier, too wet on the ground for it to last. Yeah, there's not enough of it. It won't settle. But it's changed back to hail now. What's everybody up to today? I was meant to go to work, but the people I was going to see have got COVID. So I said, I'll see you another time. I'll go live instead. Jean says, coming up Thurnmouth, quite bright at the moment. Yes, it's sunny. SW is going to be dog walking later, then back in front of the log burner. Now look, because the sun isn't shining on the Neatishead Dome, you can't see it. Oh, it's, as I say that, of course, the sun then shines on it and you can just see it. If I was to go down to the end of this road, Jean, I would be at Thurn. That's where I am. I've left Acle, gone over Acle Bridge, and I'm on the road to Thurn. Not that I'm going to Thurn, I'll turn round and go back onto the main road. That is the new dome, SW. It's the new one at Neatishead. See, it's really bright now. Looks tiny on camera, but you can see, just see the white dot, and that is it. Jean's going to be doing as little as possible, maybe dinner at the bridge. Have you seen many kingfisher as you've been going along? It's warm on the boat, is it? You've got the heating going today then? I have to say it was very warm on the boat yesterday. It was lovely. It's very quiet sat here. You'd never think I'm next to a busy main road. Who's steering today, Jean? Or are you all taking it in turns? I went and saw Jean and her family and dogs yesterday and had coffee with them. It was very nice. Catching up, putting the world to rights. So I wonder what is wrong with Akel's Wi-Fi or 4G, 5G signal. Hello to the new person who's just joined. Jean has not seen any kingfishers. They are probably tucked up in their nests. Jack at the helm at the moment. Jean says, Mike is making a brew and I'm watching the world go by. Jean, if you go to Thurn anytime this week, moor up at the mill, and in the marsh right beside the mill where the sheep are, there are some cattle egrets. If you tell that to Jack, he'll be very impressed to think he can see some cattle egrets, as they are quite rare. SW says, Jean seems to be having a wonderful time by the sound of it. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Being on a boat with like-minded people. Jean's loving life, SW. Exactly how it should be. If you look in my messages on, I think it's on the live that I did just a little while ago, somebody's written, "You have a wonderful life, Lisa." And I've replied, "Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so live today to its fullest." So you can have a look and see that message. As I say, I think it's on the live. I quickly looked at my messages, and I think it's on the live from earlier this morning. So that's all you can do, isn't it? Enjoy yourself. It's easy to sit around. Life is too short not to enjoy life to its fullest, is what I live by too. Absolutely, SW. Mr. Phil agrees. Jean keeps losing her signal. It's probably where you are. You'll get it back. I don't know how. Oh yes, you'll be fine at Acle Bridge. It's Acle Village that's got no Wi-Fi. Yes, none of us know what life will throw at us. Everybody has something to deal with at some time in their life. Once you learn how to deal with it, then it's easier. But getting to that point isn't easy. I'm just grateful that I found something that I really enjoy. Mr. Phil says, "I had another birthday to deal with on Saturday." Oh, happy birthday for Saturday, Mr. Phil. I've stopped birthdays. SW says, "Wise words, Lisa." Thank you, SW. I knew he'd like that. Jean says, "Jackie's impressed. That's with the cattle egrets. We may stop off there later in the week, but there's no electric." You don't have to stay there, Jean. You can just do a quick stop, more up, get out, because there'll be nobody on the front river piece. So just more where the public footpath sign is, more there, right literally at the mill. And just stand right by the mill, look into the marshes. You'll see the sheep and just wait. If you can't see the cattle egret to begin with, just wait, because they like to get around the feet of the sheep and they will fly up eventually. I have filmed them. I just haven't put that video out yet. I ought to do that, and that'll be on my second channel. But they're definitely there. SW says, "I always forget my birthday as I do not celebrate it." Mr. Phil says, "Yes, 71 now, but still riding 150 mile per hour motorcycles." Mr. Phil, be careful. SW says, "Good on you, Mr. Phil. Do not let age stop you from what you enjoy." Absolutely. Doesn't matter what you do, does it? It's just doing something you really enjoy. Like, I love chatting to all of you. I know I had a phase where I didn't really chat much, but I think the ones of you I've spoken to in person have told you, I've told you why. But I've worked out how to overcome that now, and hopefully I'm live a bit more regular now. But I just never know when I'm going to go live. Like my videos, I can tell you they'll be every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday at 6 p.m. But I can't tell you when I'll go live. I never know myself. Mr. Phil says that's the point. It makes you careful. One sees a lot more when biking. SW says, I still think of myself being 17 in an older person's body. Yes, I feel about, I've always said I feel about 24, but probably still a child at heart. If I could still climb trees, I would. Jean says we could do a short stay at Thurn. Yes, do. If for any bizarre reason they're not there, I've got photos I can send Jack, so he's got one of the cattle egrets. Esther, it says, considering you thought you were going to do less videos during winter, you have exceeded yourself with the quality produced. Oh, SW. Thank you. Well, I didn't know that I would be out and about so much with camera group and photography group. That has been, they have made my winter filming. They really have. And let's not forget, on the whole, I can't speak for all bird watchers, but they don't take photos. They have a book and they write in it what they've seen and when they saw it. And they have binoculars. They don't have a physical record of what they've seen other than what they write down. And then, so they're very patient with me while I'm stopping all the time. And then, obviously the photography group, we all stop. Esther is glad you had a lovely time with the camera group. I have. Yes. But you see, not all my subscribers on this channel like wildlife. They just like the boats. So when I put out a wildlife video, I've been including the ships and the boats in the different harbours in North Norfolk to try and cater for all needs, but it's not Bros Cruises. If you look at my video I put out, gosh, when was it? Was it Friday night's one? I can't remember. That's got 1,000 views. If I'd put out a wildlife video, I'd be lucky if I had 150 views. So my wildlife ones, I've got such a backlog of videos to put out. Because as I was saying yesterday to Jean, for every minute of video footage, you're looking at an hour's editing. For every minute. So my 15-minute videos, or any more, you know, that's a lot of work. So each day I'm doing about 2-3 hours work on it. So I'm a bit behind with my videos. But they'll go on to my second channel. So you alter it, you edit it rather, and then you need to play it back. And if you've done a voiceover, you need to check that you're speaking in the same tone as you did yesterday when you worked on a couple of hours, you know, so it all runs smoothly. And you have to keep checking that a piece you took out because there was noise in the background, that, you know, you've got to make sure you have taken the sound out. It's so time consuming, people just don't realise. But I'm not complaining, because I absolutely love doing YouTube. SW says, I think you may have been to some places you would have not expected to go to, and also found some new locations. Absolutely, 100% SW. You were right. And when you go to, there's nothing quite like going to a new place, you know, you've never been to before, and you've got so much enthusiasm because it's somewhere new that you found. And I think for me, I'm not trying to big myself up, I'm just, you know, I'm just chatting to you all how I feel. I think they're my best videos when I've never been there before. And that's the only time I can sit and record, do a one-take wonder, as I call it, for the voiceover, because I can just reel it off exactly everything. Obviously, I've done research, and I've got a few little notes written down beside me, but you can't beat finding a new place. I've just about covered everywhere on the Norfolk Broads now. So whenever I, you know, onto my Facebook page, I add the newspaper, the Eastern Daily Press articles or the Great Yarmouth Mercury articles, and then I add a video in of the time I've visited the place that the article's about, just so that people can see all these different videos I have actually done or made. And I still amaze myself at how many I've done. Jean says, 150 miles per hour, Mr. Phil. Wow, you must miss so much. We prefer 4 miles an hour on a boat. I think Mr. Phil does have a boat as well. SW says, I know editing takes forever, by what other YouTubers have said. Most viewers think you film, upload, and that is it. They do. They have no idea. And that's fine, because, you know, they don't do it, so they wouldn't know. But they are very time consuming. Mr. Phil says, Jean, I owned an old Broads yacht for 20 years. Loved it, but the costs of maintaining are horrific. Jean says, we love the wildlife and the boats and the coast, and we don't see from the rivers. Oh, and the boats and the coast that we don't see from the rivers. I get you. SW says, I love both channels you have. Love seeing new places I could reach myself, Braden Water, etc., to be covered when it gets warmer. You can walk the 4 or 5 miles, I forget exactly, I think it's 4 miles, from Great Yarmouth Rugby Club along the edge of Braden Water to Borough Castle, where the Roman port was. That's where, that's in the days before Great Yarmouth even existed. Mr. Phil will now tell us what Borough Castle was called. I'll guess and I'll get it wrong, but it's something like, is it Gardinian? Mr. Phil, please, let's just wait for Mr. Phil. He will tell us what that port was called. I've got it wrong, I know, but it's something similar. Mr. Phil says there's lots of places south of the Yare. There are, Mr. Phil, and I have been to Beccles, and I have filmed in Bungay, and I did a big boat ferry down to the pub at the end, Geldeston Locks, but I didn't see any other boats. And it's a long way from here to go. So I would much prefer, I go from Norwich down to Great Yarmouth out to Horsey, Hickling, up to Stalham, Wayford and Dilham. Ah, I was close, Mr. Phil. I was close. So Garry-Ann Nonham. Garry-Ann Nonham? What did I say? I can't think what I said now. I knew it was something similar like that. Mr. Phil, I'm so grateful for your knowledge. Thank you. Did you all like driving through the flooded road down to Woodbastwick car park? Oh my goodness. You could see I stopped. Mr. Phil says Surlingham, Loddon, Alton. Yeah, I have done Alton Broad, and I did the boat trip at Alton Broad, down to the church that looks like a wedding cake. Bungay, Langley, Bramerton. I went past Bramerton in a day boat. I filmed along there from a day boat. Got to past Poswick, went up into Norwich and then back to take the day boat back. SW says, I thought you may have bottled out of going down the flooded road. Well, after a short distance along in the floodwater, I did stop, as you notice, and it was by the gate. And at that point I thought, do I turn around or shall I just keep going? And I thought I'll just keep going, but I could hear the water noise change as it got deeper. And I thought, I've just got to go for it now. I can't stop. I just have to keep going. And in the distance, I could see the little white van. And I thought, well, if he's going to go through this, I can get through it, because I sit a lot higher in this car than he does in his little van. And there's a huge puddle in the car park. I didn't go down there, which is where I normally park. SW says, once you commit yourself, you have to continue on. I did. That's exactly right. And a Land Rover came past, and he drove, because I could see in my mirror, he drove down through the great big puddle in the car park, and it's so deep in places. I thought, oh my goodness, if I'd have gone through that, I would have really damaged my car, I think. It was that deep. And he was in a Land Rover. I'm just going to see if I do have my charging cable. I did have a charging cable in the car. But when I had a sort through of all my stuff, charging cable for my battery pack. And a battery pack. I think this one is empty though. Yeah, it's down to one. That's a bonus. I can take that in and charge that up this afternoon. Mr. Phil says skies are not very busy with planes today. No, we've got a good view from here of all the skies. A good, well, 360-degree view here, really. Jean says, coming into more now, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining us, Jean. Say hello to Mike and Jack for me. Richard says, well, I have to do some cruising myself now. Cruising around the house with the Hoover, that is. Take care all. Thank you, Richard. Goodness, lots of birds over there just taken off. I don't know if you can see them. Let's have a look. They might not show up. Can you, do they show up? This road must be the White Van shortcut route. Well, it's the road down to Thurn. Really, there's a big circle the road does to take you past Thurn. And you can also get to Oby down there. And I suppose it's the main road. You can see the birds. Oh, good. It was rather a lot. So I imagine it's deliveries, SW, going down to the pub and maybe the shop that's down there. Oh, there's another one coming now. Perhaps there's something going on that we don't know. SW says Thurn is also on the to visit list. Thurn is very nice. You can walk from Thurn along the riverbank to Reps and back. And you can walk the other way to Oby and back. Ah, yes, Mr. Phil. Mr. Phil says, I'm dropping off all the online shopping. You're probably right, actually, yes. Thank you for the 7 likes on this live stream. And hello to anybody watching this on the replay. You can no longer see the dome at Neater's Head. SW says the road here was a lot busier with mobile camper vans this weekend. Come Easter, it'll be every other vehicle is a camper van. Yes, I think you're right, SW. I have the seal watchers go past. Mr. Phil says Thurn Regatta is the 27th to the 29th of May this year. Thank you, Mr. Phil. Mr. Phil, do they go up past Cold Harbour, do you know? Or do they go the other way towards Acle and then along down St. Bennett's? I'm just thinking of my spot for filming them. Ideally, if I could see them from Cold Harbour, that would be the place. SW says, I think Ludham Caravan Park must be their destination. Well, I actually drove past there yesterday on my way back from Jean. And I was actually filming the route, and there was not a single caravan in there, because I did look. Oh, you might mean the one just on from the bridge. SW. I'm on the one on about the one on Staithe Road. Or they could be going to Womack Water one. There's an awful lot in Ludham. There's a lot goes on there. I think I'd like to live in Ludham. Mr. Phil says they go always. It's based at Thurnemouth and the race routes are determined by wind and tide. SW says yes, one past the bridge. I know the one you mean. Well, I might try Cold Harbour, I think. Or St Bennett's, where the cross is. Higher elevation there. That might be a plan. SW said, I nearly bought a house in Ludham, but there was hardly any back garden. Horning is much better for me. Whereabouts in Ludham? Roughly, not the exact house, just roughly. Such as near the church or near the shops or that sort of thing, or near How Hill. Just because I'm nosy. I do like Ludham, so. I know exactly what you mean. It's taken a while to have the wall rebuilt, hasn't it? A white painted house. Is that the one that sits sideways? Mr. Phil says, my ex lives in Ludham, down Staithe Road. It's a lovely town with proper facilities. It is lovely. My friends used to live on Staithe Road. Do you know where Crusoe's is? Where Mr. Richardson used to live, from the boatyard. They don't live there now, but they've moved. SW says, it was more than what I wanted to pay. Yes, it is the sideways on one. What a coincidence. I love that one, SW. I really do like that. It's got so much character. Funny I should know the one. SW says, I think it may be a holiday let, as curtains are always, I don't know, it was so pretty inside with beams, etc. Oh, the curtains are always shut. That's okay. I got you. SW says, sorry, you cannot speak and I cannot type. I know. Can you remember what it was I said in Starbucks? That was total rubbish, wasn't it? It didn't make sense at all. Judith just laughed. Well, she looked at me, raised her eyebrows and just burst out laughing. Here comes the hail again, Mr. Phil. Aeroplane, Mr. Phil. Oh, that's an unusual one. Mr. Phil, can you get on the case, please? That's got a square piece on it as well as the tail. I don't know what that was. Yeah, you got the wings, a square piece, and then the tail piece. That's Lisa's technical description of an aeroplane. SW says, I missed it as when I joined the signal failed. It's Austrian. Thank you, Mr. Phil. What's the square piece on it? It looks like a box from where I'm sat. A Gulfstream G100 for the experts. That was the butcher's farm, that white van. Thank you, Mr. Phil, for that. SW, I look forward to the day I can speak properly again. Around July time. April, May, June, July, for another 4 months. Mr. Phil says it's come from a long way off. SW says you sound fine today. It's weird, I'm okay until I think about it and then I can't speak. I start lisping again. It's very strange how that happens. Oh, I can still see the plane up there. Oh no, it's a bird. Or is it the plane? No, it's a bird. Comes the hail again from Sofia in Bulgaria. I remember I was traveling to Romania. So obviously I had Bucharest on my address label. And my luggage went to Sofia in Bulgaria. And I was in Bucharest. So my dad worked his wonders and made sure it was back at the correct location later that day. I had different labels on it and different passport, and that should not have gone astray. It soon came back. SW says, I guess you become self-conscious when you think about it. That's right, you do. And there's still the odd word I can't say. Mr. Bill says the bit hanging off the back of the engines. Oh, I've done the wrong bit. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. I hope I don't lose you when I press some. Oh, there we go. We're back. Sally Ann's here. Afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sally Ann. So it's an air ambulance. Is it really? Where's it? So it's come from Sofia. Where's it going to? SW says, could you please keep that hail with you, as I do not want it here later. It's blowing towards Acle to Jean. So it's missing you, SW. Oh, it's going into Norwich, is it? Thank you, Mr. Phil. Do you think it's going in there to have its livery changed? Because I'm not familiar with flights. It's just landed. Goodness, that was quick. I'm not familiar with flights from Bulgaria landing there. SW says, poor Jean, I know. Imagine mooring up with the hail coming down. Cool, we were 3 cars a sight across then. Hang on, I've got hail in the car. Wait a minute, folks. Bisfeld says, doubt it as it's not based at Norwich. Yes, but Norwich has been having lots of different planes, hasn't it? They seem to be going there to get their liveries changed. They come from all over. That's where all the stripy planes have been going. Have you seen those? I did add a newspaper report about that to my Facebook page for my YouTube channel. There's green and white stripy planes, beige and white. I think there's a red and white one. A lot are there for storage, says Mr. Phil. Mr. Phil, if you Google stripy plane livery at Norwich Airport, you might get it. BA hid a lot there during COVID. Yeah, there's still several there now, isn't there? So these stripy planes have plane spotters around the world trying to find them, spot them. They look quite impressive. Can you believe I've been online an hour? Doesn't time go quick? Condor Airlines, is it? Do you see, does it say there how they go there to have their livery done there? I don't know if that's something Norwich has just started doing. Goodness, if Lisa actually knew something to do with planes that Mr. Phil didn't, that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? SW says, these stripy planes sounds as elusive as the eider duck I was trying to find at Lowestoft. I never did find that. And since the eider, there's been a stork. The stork landed at Kessingland. So everybody went there to try and find it. I didn't go there because I'm not familiar with the location that was given. Then it went to Halvergate. So I thought, oh, I can get there. I know where that is. And I kind of guessed the location. And it'd gone. It was just a stopover. And then it went over, which is just brilliant. It stopped at Eton in Norwich, Waitrose, which is just hilarious. And now it's moved on again. And I don't know any more locations. But apparently it stops at all the same places on its way back again when it leaves here and goes wherever it's come from. And then next year it will stop again at Kessingland, stop again at Halvergate. Isn't that amazing? How do birds do that? They're so clever, aren't they? Mr. Phil's gone off to search. Here we go. From the EDP, Condor has said it is aiming for 80% of its fleet to have the striped livery by 2024. And does it say that it's being done at Norwich Airport? 2 of the Condor planes have been painted in Norwich. Yes! Lisa knew something. And by the end of the winter season, 12 aircraft will be painted in paint shops at Norwich Airport and near Toulouse. Mr. Phil, how about that? Thank you, Mr. Phil, for giving us that information. SW says, Bird must have better memories than us. It's incredible, isn't it? Incredible that that single stork can remember where to go. And it does the same route each year, going and coming back. So, Mr. Phil, could you... God, I'm so cheeky, aren't I? Oh, SW says, well done, Lisa. You know something more than 50. Mr. Phil. Oh, Mr. Phil is the mind of all the information that we need. Mr. Phil, what are the colours? There's green and white. Mr. Phil says, it's a German airline and the livery is based on beach towels. Yes. Yes, I remember that bit now. So there's green and white, beige and white. I think there's a red and white. And is it a yellow and white? I can't really remember. So they're meant to look like deck chairs or beach towels on deck chairs. Mr. Phil says, I guess so they can get the first slots. Very good. Very good. Yellow, yes, I was right on that one. Red, yes. I didn't say blue. I got the green and I got the beige. Oh. That's made my day. I'm so easily pleased. All we need now is for one to fly over. It is good at Norwich airports though. Now I know where to go to see them land and take off, but it's better to see them land. It's brilliant. And they just skim the top of that fence, don't they? And it's good to see what is actually there. Excuse me. SW says, well, I'm now going to take the girlies out for their walk. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Lisa, for the live. You're very welcome, SW. Very welcome. Thank you for joining us all. I don't know how the battery on my phone is doing, so I probably won't be too much longer before I go. I know I see it every time, but I do love when somebody says they're going, that everybody else in the chat says bye to them. I find that so touching, I really do. That you all say bye to the person and you all welcome them. But it somehow, just when you say bye to them, every time I see that, that gets me. I just think, oh, that's so kind. I really do have the best subscribers, don't I? You know, I might not have loads and loads of subscribers, but it's quality rather than quantity. When I started YouTube, I know you've heard this before. Mr. Phil says, manners cost nothing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just smile at somebody. You don't know what they're going through. You might make their day. Sally Ann says, well, we all feel we know each other. I know. And I've been lucky enough to meet in person some of my subscribers. SW is lovely. John, my moderator, he's lovely. SW follows him as well on YouTube. Jean, Mike and Jack, lovely people. You know, Julie and Brad and Alison. This is where it gets tricky, isn't it? Because you think, oh, I can't leave anybody out. Ben and Sarah. I know they're not in here at the minute, but lovely people. And I've met lots of people who've come up to me. I used to always be at Ludden Bridge filming, but I put a stop to that, and I'm now at different places each time I go out. So for security reasons, nobody knows in advance where I'm going to be. So make of that what you will. And so, but when I was there, people would stop more, well, say hello, see me, stop more up, come and say hello. And, you know, they took the time to come and say hello to me. I only do YouTube videos. So kind of people, really is. Oh, can you see that crow giving the kestrel a hard time? Oh, I think they're going to cross the road now. In the beginning, when I started doing, Sally Ann says, how are the seedlings? Well, I'm going to be watering them this afternoon, and I'm just going to do a little video. I won't go live. I'll just do a little video so you can all see them. And then I'm just going to put that little short video onto the Facebook page. It'll just be a little video. It won't be via YouTube. I'm hesitating because I'm thinking, can I do that? I must be able to do that. So they are growing. I only had 2 containers. Oh, the crows and the kestrel. Kestrel just went up in the tree. The crow's gone into the tree, and another crow's just gone into the tree. They're definitely after that kestrel. I'm blocking the road, I think. Yes, I don't know what the kestrel's done, but it's definitely getting told off. Crow's back out. No kestrel yet. Yes, I will film all the seedlings so you can see how much they've grown. I suppose I could make it into a shorts and put it on the other channel. Whatever I decide to do, I'll say, oh, Jean's just messaged, got in at Acle Bridge, eating there tonight. Perhaps the crows have eggs. Sally Ann, yes. Yes, they could well have, couldn't they? Can't see the kestrel anymore. That would make sense, wouldn't it? And there's activity down there at those trees because the crows keep coming out. But I don't know where the kestrel is. If I had my powerful camera, I could zoom in down there and have a look in the tree. So I think I need to go home and water the seedlings, fill up the bird feeders because I just can't keep up with how much they're eating at the minute. Sort them out. And then do some more editing of one of my videos. I put out a shorts earlier of the Southern Comfort Mississippi paddle boat. I think that only had about 4 views. It's weird. Sometimes, you know, you don't do anything different. Some little shorts or videos get hardly any views, and you can make another one exactly the same way, and it gets lots of views. It's a mystery. But there we are. We're not meant to know the formula. If we all knew the formula, it would be so easy, wouldn't it? So YouTube like to keep us on our toes. There's a reservoir over there to the left. And I know you can't see it like that, I don't think. Let's have a look. It's all green, so can you see there's a bank over there? Well, in there is a reservoir. And the birds must love it in there because that's what I'm constantly watching, all the birds coming out or flying into that area. Oh, and then talking of birds, let me see if I can zoom into this. Look at those. They're the ones from earlier. From here they look like gulls, but I don't think they're lapwing. There's certainly lots of them down there. So I think I'm going to end this live. And go home. Alfred Hitchcock filming nearby, perhaps, says Mr. Phil. Sally Ann says, thank you for the live, Lisa. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you, Sally Ann. Thank you to everybody who's joined and to everybody who watches this on the replay. very much appreciated that anybody comes in while we're live or watches afterwards. So I will be back again probably later in the week. I don't know when. It's impossible to say, really. I'm sure I'll find another random location for us all to chat in. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Have a good afternoon. And I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.